to go.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, it looks like we're live. Hey guys, I'm Lou Puschelberg. I'm here with, just gonna jump to the start of our slides. I'm here with Usman Mir. Usman is one of our lead instructors at CircuitStream. We're just gonna start a little early and do a quick audio-visual test. Just gonna check here, make sure everything is working well in our back end. Okay, it looks like we're good to go. So guys, yeah, we figured we'd just start a little early. Why don't you let us know where you guys are from, what your interest is in VR or AR, what your experience is. Yeah, so maybe we can start with where you're from. Where are you guys tuning in from tonight?
Got someone from Portland and New York.
Portland, New York City. My brother just moved from New York.
Calgary here.
Yep. I guess we could talk about some VR news. I mean, we just keep talking about Vive Pro.
Yeah, it's definitely on my mind. I'm waiting. As soon as it comes out, it's mine.
So wireless virtual reality is coming out this year with the Vive Pro. Oculus is also releasing a new headset called Oculus Go. So 2018 is going to be a big year for VR. And for AR too, if Magic Leap comes out.
If. Oof. That thing's gonna be so hyped up. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of Magic Leap?
Yeah, I'm super bullish. Like, you know, kind of my stance on Magic Leap. I'm just so excited to try it. They announced pricing the other day, and it sounds like Magic Leap is going to be. They were saying about the price of a high-end smartphone or a tablet. So
Okay.
between 1 and 2,000. 2,000 obviously being the high end, 1,000 being the low end.
Damn. Okay.
So whether that makes it consumer ready, either way, it'll be a great start for people
Developers, yeah.
for developers, businesses, early enthusiasts. That's how tech usually starts.
Right. No, fair enough. Man, can't wait to try that out. They've been so secretive this entire time. You know, it makes me very curious and worried.
So if you guys are just tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from. I know we had Portland, we had New York.
The sound is down again.
Oh, okay. That's good. So it sounds like our audio is a little low. Just going to see if we can change that. Blue Snowball. Hey, Liz, can you let me know if this helps? It looks like the audio's at max. So I'm just going to do a quick test here, see if this is any better.
Should we move the snowball closer to us?
Sure. Audio input capture. Oh, it might be this one. Oh, that one's muted. Desktop audio. So we just tried upping the volume. If you guys are having a hard time hearing us, just let us know. We've still got a few minutes here before presentation starts.
Yeah, definitely keep the snowball near you.
Great. So we're gonna keep this nice and close.
Work around it for sure.
So what's your background? What background of work are people coming from? We've in the past worked with people who work for companies that design airports. We've worked with architects. We've worked with engineers, artists, filmmakers.
Designers, yeah.
How about you guys? What's your working background? Because usually that leads to your interest in VR or in AR.
We got UX designer here.
UX designer, sweet. VR needs more of those.
Yeah, indeed.
And James has made a couple of MR videos already.
Mixed reality videos. Wow, wicked.
Right
That's
on.
cool. We should talk, James. Okay, so it looks like it's officially 7 p.m. Pacific time. So why don't we get started? For those of you just tuning in, my name's Lou Puschelberg. I'm one of the co-founders of CircuitStream, and I'm here with our lead instructor, Usman Mir. So, bit of background. This is the third VR startup that I've worked on, and I've been charged mainly for our students' success. My personal motto and the motto of the business is that your success in VR or in AR is our success. So hopefully through tonight's workshop we can prove that. And I'm just going to adjust the, make this a little smaller really quick now that we've launched the presentation. So through tonight's workshop, whether you're interested in being a developer, a designer, a content creator, an entrepreneur, consultant, a freelancer, someone working in training, a business, someone starting a business, working at a business, we're hopeful that CircuitStream can provide you the tools to enter into the field of VR, the tools and the skills. So thanks, guys. In the comments, I'm hearing that speak a little louder, so we're just going to try to speak up and speak into the microphone. So the goal of CircuitStream is to really have one of our students or course participants create the next global virtual reality application or business. So headsets are selling more and more. The technology is evolving. We're excited for someone to create the next product, application, or software that's used by millions of customers around the world. So that's our big goal. Headsets are selling more and more every day. 13,000 new headsets will be on the market between now, February 15th, and when we launch our next course on February 27th. So it's a really exciting time for VR and for AR. So I'm here with my colleague, Usman Mir.
Hey guys.
Usman is one of our lead instructors at CircuitStream. He's also a VR and AR developer. Usman has over 10 years of experience working in Unity. Thank you, Usman. So I know I learn a lot from him. He's a great colleague of mine, really great instructor and Unity developer. And I know that you guys will learn a lot from Usman in tonight's workshop as well. So today's workshop, like I mentioned, we're hoping to show you the tools that CircuitStream can provide to create your own VR or AR idea, whether that's in the form of being a freelancer and publishing that yourself, starting a company or a startup, joining a company or a startup, building an application internally, starting a consultancy, becoming a developer, designer, content creator, storyteller, any of the fields. CircuitStream is trying to enable you to acquire the skills in VR and in AR, and we're hoping that we can help you begin doing that tonight. We're an open book. We'd love to talk to you guys if at any point during tonight's presentation or after you have a question, send us an email, support@circuitstream.com. And in the meantime, if you guys have questions about VR or AR, just feel free to throw them in the chat. We've got our colleague Liz moderating the chat, so she's going to be composing a list of questions, and we will answer them all at the end. So what does CircuitStream do? We offer courses and corporate training to help people learn how to create VR and AR apps. What makes us unique from other courses and online education companies out there is that we invest one-on-one time with all of our students. So we're trying to give you the skills and show you the tools to create your own VR idea or application, and that's where the one-on-one help really comes in. So we work with everyone in small class sizes and one-on-one to help them actually build products and get their hands dirty. Through workshops just like this, CircuitStream has taught thousands of students, and then hundreds have actually graduated from our 10-week online program. I'm going to share some more details on that throughout tonight's presentation. All of our teaching and training for VR and AR is done in a platform called Unity, and that's what Usman is going to be leading the technical portion of tonight's workshop. So you might be wondering, what is Unity? It's a free creation tool for artists, designers, developers, and businesses, and it's really the easiest way to begin making content, applications, products for VR and AR. Unity works with Google Cardboard, Google Daydream, Samsung Gear VR, HTC Vive, Oculus Go when it comes out, PSVR, Windows mixed reality headsets, Microsoft HoloLens, ARKit, this is Apple's augmented reality platform, Google's augmented reality platform called AR Core, and then when Magic Leap comes out this year, another augmented reality technology, it'll work for Magic Leap. So Unity really is the one-size-fits-all solution, and again, that's why CircuitStream is focused on teaching Unity and giving you guys the skills to use Unity. So it works for all the headsets, and we've worked with people on basically all the different technologies. The alternate to Unity would be to use Unreal. So just putting that out there, but we're going to focus on Unity in our courses and in tonight's workshop, so that's where we'll stay focused. So To give you guys a bit more info on our full-time programs, they run for 3 hours every single week, plus that 1 hour of one-on-one help on your own personal project or idea, where we actually work with you and build out an idea for a VR AR app that you have. Hey Liz, the light's just flickering. Might want to just change. I'm not sure why. Regularly, the full-time online courses are priced at $2,500, but there's going to be a special discount for everyone tuning in tonight, so remind me to tell you what that is at the end. So everyone, I'm sure, is asking, who's taking these courses? Is this right for me? We've worked with everyone from airport designers. We have someone working on the new airport in New York City. It's such a cool project. He's using virtual reality for LaGuardia Airport. We've also worked with filmmakers. We've worked with engineers. We've worked with people who come from web development. We've worked with people transitioning from a career in IT. We've worked with people who have ideas for education. We have working with one of our students who's an architect, designers. So if you don't fit into any of these categories, or if you're thinking, oh, VR, AR, Unity, programming, it's not for me, don't worry. We've designed this course so that we start at beginner level, and that the one-on-one time, the small class sizes, live classes, we're here to help you really no matter what industry you come from. So if you do want some more info on the full-time programs, just visit our website, circuitstream.com. It's all there. If VR is something you want to do, we would encourage you to go for it. So today's outline, we're going to share our story. Then we're going to share some insights, what we learned helping start 3 different VR companies. Usman is going to go over creating an app for the HTC Vive, which is this headset right here. Then Usman is going to give a demo of ARKit, go through a brief setup for Apple's ARKit. So we have an iPad. We're going to show a video. We're just going to show you guys how simple it is and give you guys some resources to set up ARKit development in Unity if you want to have your own augmented reality idea. Then we'll share some next steps, resources, and answer questions. So you're going to learn how AR and VR apps are made in Unity, the basics, and then we're going to share some insights on the industry, and finally some resources to help you make your own VR and AR apps. Awesome. So I want to start with a short story of how I got involved in VR and ended up founding CircuitStream. It all started with the first Oculus Kickstarter. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I had an early Oculus DK1 and DK2. Tried my first app called Surge and just instantly began imagining the possibility of VR, not just for entertainment, but in all these different kind of verticals of software and of business. From there, I booked a trip to the 4 biggest VR and AR hubs on the West Coast: Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, basically just to begin establishing the CircuitStream network and meeting other experts in the field from places like Stanford University. So I went to Stanford. Stanford has a lab called the Virtual Human Interaction Lab, where professors and experts and researchers have been doing VR studies for over 20 years. So here's me in Stanford's lab. Also went to places like USC. So University of Southern California is actually the birthplace of virtual reality. This is where many of our instructors and the CircuitStream network actually come from USC, the origin of Oculus. During this time, I was also kind of interviewing people from companies like Valve, early pioneers in the virtual reality space, employees from Oculus. This is Google's office in Venice. And this was all for an early virtual reality startup that I was working for at the time called Converge. So we used to host seminars in this VR startup called Converge. This was one of the early ones. There was 58 people in a seminar, not much bigger or smaller than this one. And there I am. This is 2 or 3 years ago. So from that kind of traveling and kind of building this network of people, experts working in VR and AR, had this realization that there's clearly lots of potential for VR products and software across many different verticals, but it's still really hard to learn how to create applications for the technology. So we set out on a mission to start teaching courses, and that's exactly what we did. That was one of our instructors, Jason. Here I am. Here's another one of our instructors, Dan, Amanda. We talked about some of those 1,000 students that we've taught. This is just a snapshot of some of them. So that's our story. Now I want to jump in and share some insights about what we've kind of taken away working in the VR AR industry and try to share that with you guys so that we can help set you up for success if you're thinking about a career or a product, building something, creating something for this industry. And one of the major takeaways is that we like to encourage people to think about entertainment and consumer apps, yes, but also think about business solutions. So where we've seen a lot of our peers be successful is focus on virtual reality business solutions. A great example of that is also VR, a surgical training platform, or a company like Archiact, which just purely develops VR and AR business solutions, or a company like LNG Studios, which does architectural visualization, and they're using VR purely for a defined niche of architects. So those are just some examples, and that's the really cool thing about this technology, and the exciting thing about VR is that as a piece of hardware and as software, it's applicable in all these different fields. So you're not stuck in this one vertical. There's possibilities for VR applications in architecture, real estate, oil and gas, engineering, education, medical, all these different fields, and like the list goes on and on and on. We're running. We don't have enough room for all the bullet points on this slide. And I know there's a few designers in the crowd, so that's not even talking about beginning to think, okay, how do you design a 3D interface for spatial computing? So when computing or the computer is all around you. Great. So we're gonna jump into some technical stuff now. I'm gonna turn it over to Usman, and he's gonna lead Introduction to Unity, Vive, and augmented reality.
All right, let's do it. Here we are. Hello, everyone. We're just going to get going in Unity and just want to show you how exactly it is you can sort of get your Vive set up and working in VR in Unity. And here, I'll just demonstrate an example. I'll show you a demo here. So I have my Vive. I have 2 controllers here with me, so I'm just going to turn those on, get my headset on. I'm going to hit play here. Just going to show you this. On the left is the scene view. That's what all the editors see. This is you as the developer, what you will see. On the right is what the user will see. So if I'm the user, I'm on the right. I'm going to find my controllers. There they are. And in front of me, I have a table with a little gun and a blue cube. So the way we've set up this one is you can pick this gun up with your controllers. We have some light cubes, medium cubes, and heavy cubes. So I can also shoot them by pulling the trigger. The grip buttons on the side are what I'm using to pick up objects. So shoot the light ones, shoot the medium ones, and shoot the heavy ones. That's just a demonstration of the physics engine in Unity. And here we have this thing called instantiation. This is you spawning objects into the scene. So I pick this one up, and then another one spawns. Start placing them however I want. And I'm not that great an artist, so I don't know if someone who's an actual artist wants to make something a bit cooler than what I'd be making. But yeah. Can't hear me? What point did I cut out? So I'll just repeat in case you didn't hear me too well. Spawning in these cubes. Just another thing you can do in VR and Unity. Using the grip buttons you can pick up. And using the triggers, in our case with the gun, you can shoot. Alright. So having shown that, we'll get into what that looks like in Unity and how you can set up your HTC Vive to start developing right away. So I'm going to open up a new project. Just going to get this mic positioned a bit better for me. And what we'll do is I'm going to right click on my Unity application, open up a new project. You'll get a prompt that says, do you want to open or create a new project? And what you'll do is at the top right, you'll see the new option. Just create a new project. It'll ask for a project name. You can name it whatever you want. In my case, I just made one, so let's open that one up. And what will happen is a blank scene will come up. In my case, it shows these two here. I'm going to delete them to demonstrate a point here. What you'll do is when you come across this, and most of you will see just the one screen, not two, this is the default view in Unity. This is what you'll see as the editor for the first time opening up a new project. Now, to get it ready for the HTC Vive, we have some documentation on our blog. So I'll just open that up and I'll let you guys see how easy this step-by-step process has been laid out for you. There we go. I'm just going to go back here. And yeah, so this is the blog at circuitstream.com/blog. I'm just going to scroll down and you'll see that we have written some documentation on how to make virtual reality applications for Unity. So I'm going to click on that one and you'll see a small 8 step-by-step process. So step 1, you go to the Unity Asset Store. So I'm back in Unity and I'll see that Asset Store tab at the top. If you don't have it, just go to the top and say Window and click on Asset Store in the middle. I'll open this tab up for you. Now the next thing you want to do is actually look for a plugin from Steam VR. They've made it very easy for you to develop for the Vive. So I just type Steam VR in the search bar and bam, it's the first one that appears. Click on that one and where you see this pink button on the top right, that will say download for you. If it doesn't, it says import. That means you already have it downloaded, and that is my case. So I'm going to click import, and there it will give you this prompt of the contents of the plugin, and just go to the bottom right and hit import. I'm going to go back and show you what we are in terms of the steps. We've gone to the Asset Store, downloaded and imported the plugin, and now at the end of the import, you'll see a prompt appear that asks you to make a backup for your project. This is a brand new project, so you don't really need to make a backup. I made a backup, go right ahead. Back in Unity, we're waiting for the project to finish the importing. Once it's done, you'll receive another prompt that asks you to accept all the changes that have been made to your project. So now back in our step, you'll see after a few seconds, another prompt titled Steam VR Settings will ask you to accept all or ignore all. And when that happens, you're just going to click accept all at the bottom right of that prompt. So just give it a second, it's going to come up here. Alright, so it's been imported in this project already, so it will have shown up, and you just click accept all on the bottom right. Next thing you would do is you want to navigate to these folders that I'll walk you through here in a second, and launch your project. So I'm back in Unity. When I've imported, I have this Steam VR folder in my assets in my project tab. Click on that one to get inside. Shows me a bunch of things that I've imported now. All I care about right now is the prefabs folder. Prefabs is referring to prefabricated assets. These are things that have been pre-made and you can just drag them into your scene. It is as simple as click and drag. So you're going to click and drag the camera rig and you're going to click and drag the Steam VR prefabs. You don't care too much about the status one. You just want these two in your scene. And last thing you want to do is delete the main camera that is in your scene by default. That is because that will interfere with your camera. So now that that's done, that's it. You're ready to go. You have Vive set up. You're in VR. So let's demonstrate this in action. I'm going to just create just some random objects so I have a point of reference for you to see. And when I hit play, I'll be in VR. And there I have my controllers in front of me as well. Controllers, headset, I can look around and you'll see the controllers are also animated for you. Even let you know where you're touching the pad. From there out, all you're doing is basic Unity development using the inputs from these controllers. Alright, should we move on to the AR kit?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, now I'm going to show you an example of a quick application you can make in the AR kit. Didn't take us very long, and we have a recording here prepared for you guys. It is right over here, I believe. Just hit escape. Yeah, alright. Bam. Bam. Minimize, minimize, minimize.
So guys, just while Usman's finding the recording, so this is shot on the iPad, and it should be right there.
So
So before you play that, do you want to maybe walk through the just kind of the process, and you're gonna have to just drag it back and move it to this main screen.
Yep. All right.
So you want to walk them through what an AR kit is, and then show the recording.
All right. So what the AR kit is, it allows you to essentially augment your reality. And AR kit is designed for the iOS, so your iPads and your iPhones. And what it does is it uses the camera to track straight lines and to detect planes in your real world. Using that, it will be able to detect where the position of an object is in relation to others in real time. And that's but a bunch of jargon, I'm sure, but here, let's take a look. So made with Unity is what we did. Now here you can see Lou is looking around the table. So if he moves it side to side, the AR kit is now detecting where the planes are and is doing a fairly good job of detecting the edges. Now it's found a floor. So now as Lou moves around, the AR kit knows where that object is and it will remember. And then, so Lou has now moved it over to the laptop. He's moving around and it remembers where it is, and so he can look at it from different points of view. And
There you are.
yeah, and there I am. He positioned it right next to me. Interacting with it. Oh, too low. There we go. All right, and yeah, go ahead,
guys,
Lou.
we shot this basically on an iPad 20 minutes before today's class. So, and there Usman is with, holding this zombie, which was all made in Unity in his hand because it's detecting his hand as a plane. And that's AR kit.
That's AR kit for you.
Do you want to show them the resources on the blog, Usman?
Of course. Yeah, let's get to that then. Now, in our blog, same place where you found the HTC Vive setup, we've gone through and documented how to set up and use a bunch of different AR and VR devices with Unity. And so the one we've written up for the AR kit, we're just going to show you how to get it ready. So let's go to that blog post and you'll see a few prerequisites. This is about creating your Apple ID so you can actually develop for Apple, downloading some tools, and making your phone your phone or your iPad able to launch your applications. Now in Unity, you're just going to create your new project. What you'll do is similar to how we set up the HTC Vive. You're going to go back into Unity. I keep opening up that other project. Go into Unity and you're going to go to your asset store. So we'll just create a new scene just to avoid any confusion here. Asset store, and you're going to type in, as you saw. Let's go here. You're going to download the Unity AR Kit plugin. So that's step 1 in the Unity editor. So let's go in there and type in Unity AR Kit, and you'll come across the let's make sure I've typed it AR Kit plugin. So no space and plugin. There we go. Now this has been developed by Apple and it is to be used in Unity right out the gate. So when you find it in the asset store, click on it and scroll down until you see the download button, which should be a big pink button. In my case, it says import, and that's again because we've already downloaded it for you guys, so it's not going to take us forever to get it into the scene. Once you've imported the object, it'll prompt you with all these things that you can bring in. For the sake of simplicity, just import all of them. So leave them all selected, bottom right, click import, and then the package will get imported and compiled all the scripts so that you can now develop for iOS AR Kit. So you have that capability, and so we just follow these last steps here to actually get your project in the correct settings for iOS. So the next thing you want to do is go into your project settings, you go into the edit option at the top left. So again, this is SteamVR prompting me as I've made some changes. Go up to top left, you're looking for edit, project settings, and editor. When you're there, where it says device, just click on any iOS device. And one more thing we want to do is go to the, yep, that's what we did. And then next we go to the build settings, and we want to switch our platform. We want to make sure that it's a development build, and we're going to check to see that the ARKit scenes are in our build list. So we go to File, Build Settings at the top left, and you'll see that, bam, there's a bunch of scenes that we imported. Just going to make sure one of them is at least ticked off, the one at the top. That's optional again. Next, you want to select iOS. So iOS is the second option here. We don't want to be deploying this to the Mac, or sorry, to the PC, because it will not be compatible with ARKit. So select iOS, select development build, switch the platform. While that's loading, we'll just take a look at the next step, is to go to the file, build settings. Now these are some other setting aspects that you want to go through. You're entering unique bundle identifiers, just making sure that your particular application has a unique ID. You don't want it to be confused for another application, and that's sort of the thing that it's avoiding with that. And just camera usage description blank, and these are just some basic things that you put in to make sure that it's compatible with whatever iPad that you have. You go to, and then once you're done with those, you just you go to build settings. So those things I just mentioned, when you have build settings open, oh, wrong instance of Unity here. There we go. So you just go to player settings, and at the far right you'll see other settings, and that's where you make those changes, bundle identifier and such. Now, let me pull that up. I don't know why it's logging out on me here. All right, and so once that's done, you can just click on build and run, and it will launch. In your case, if you're building for ARKit, what it will do is it will launch Xcode. And now there's just a couple steps you take on Xcode. As listed here in our blog, be ready to actually develop and deploy your application onto your iPad or iPhone. And between that, it's just a matter of making edits like a regular developer. These few steps you do is just so that it's ready for a particular platform.
Why don't we show people how we could import a scene, different scene for the Vive back in VR? Either get our zombie in there, or maybe we could show them different environment for the Vive.
That sounds great. Let's get back into Unity. So you guys see this basic demo scene that we set up, the shooting gallery. This is what we try to get people to learn how to do, because it demonstrates a lot of different aspects of Unity and building for VR. Now let's just mix it up. Let's look at a different scene. Now what I'll do is I'm just gonna quickly deactivate this bit and activate the other scene that I have. Whew, there's the lights. So if you're ever considering working with different lighting, this particular scene has a lot. Now I'm going to hit play. Lou here is going to get into VR for me. Nah, it's all good. I'll let Lou show what's going on. So here you can see his hands in VR. These controllers, if you wanted, you could actually replace with other models, so you can actually make them hands. Now nothing's stopping you. So this is what you can see. He's inside of an old blacksmith. You ready to hop out of VR, Lou?
That's awesome.
All right. And we created a zombie for our ARKit. Now it's not restricted to AR, of course. So let's bring in that zombie to our scene. So I've imported and downloaded that zombie just like I would have with any project, and I'm just gonna click and drag that into our scene.
No way.
Bam, we got a zombie. Let's be face to face with this guy. All right, Lou, I hope you don't get scared too easily.
Pop back in. That was quick.
And let's move this guy so he's not inside of you, huh? Let's position him directly in front. There we go. Lou, you ready?
I'm ready.
We've launched Unity, and there he is, directly in front of Lou.
So that's super cool and super fast.
And let's move him right up to his face.
Oh, He's seen better days. So yeah, that's awesome. So that's our zombie from AR Kit is
Yep.
now in the same Unity scene, but for the Vive.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
All right, I'm gonna let Lou take over here with the theory, I guess you can say.
Thanks, Usman.
You're welcome. I'll just minimize Unity here and get you back to your presentation. Where was that exact? Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Perfect. I'm just gonna cancel that import. Okay, so let's jump back in. So as you guys can see, Unity is really kind of the umbrella that works for all these different applications. So for HTC Vive, for Oculus, or for mobile VR, and also for augmented reality. So, we just showed with that zombie that you can go cross-platform from the Vive to an iOS device, and you could do the same thing across any platform. So, here we see iPhone, Android in the middle, Microsoft HoloLens on the right-hand side. Jumping back one slide, we've got mobile VR, we've got the Oculus. Unity really works for all platforms, and that's what makes it such a great tool. We'll send out links to the blog, which Usman referenced during the technical demo. But if you want the links, they're also there for the setup for Vive and AR Kit. Okay, I want to share some industry info for you guys so that, again, CircuitStream can provide you with the tools and the skills, and then also some context about how to think about different market opportunities if you're creating for VR or for AR. So job postings are up in a huge way. Last year they were up over 800%. So lots of people looking for VR designers, developers, content creators, business people, marketing people. A whole bunch of different VR studios and startups are hiring, and also big companies like Microsoft, Amazon. They all have open job postings for VR and AR, basically people in the field. And the tech is just starting its growth. So if you guys remember those, cell phones that you could literally smash through a window with, that's basically where we're at in virtual reality and augmented reality's life cycle. Most big companies, everything from Facebook to Apple, Samsung, Google, HTC, Sony, Disney, have a VR, AR division. And to give you guys some stats on headset sales, in terms of mobile VR, so Google Cardboard, Samsung Gear VR, and Daydream, this is really ground zero. This is where you start if you're creating an idea and you want to publish it to people around the world. 15 million headsets. That's how many mobile VR devices are out there floating around in the world. I'm just going to check back with my team. Is everything good?
Yeah, we're just trying to get the questions up here.
Okay, perfect. So on the other side of the fence, PC and console, so Oculus, HTC Vive, and PSVR, there's 3 million headsets out there. So if you create an idea, you have about 3 million people that you can potentially reach on the Oculus, PSVR, or for the Vive. And there's about 1,000 new Vives coming online every single day. So again, we have a course starting on the 27th. Between now and then, it's 13,000 new headsets. I think you guys can tell how excited both Usman and our whole team at CircuitStream is about VR. And that's just virtual reality. If you're looking at the flip side, augmented reality, last fall over 300 million iPhones became compatible with ARKit. Then there's Android, there's Microsoft HoloLens, there's lots of AR devices coming online as well. So over 1,800 companies working in VR and AR, and this is just a snapshot of some of them. We'll send out a link to this image and the website after the workshop ends. And lots of investment happening in the space as well. So in Q4 of last year, over $1.5 billion were invested in the VR and AR space, both hardware and software. Some of those investors are Boost, Venture Reality Fund, Presence. Vive has a VR investment division called ViveX. Again, we'll send out the list after the workshop, and you guys can look through it. And there's a handful of those companies that we're actively working with, both big and small. Here's just some of them that we're in contact with. So again, CircuitStream is trying to provide the tools for you guys to create your own VR, AR ideas. If you want to get started, we would really recommend Unity 3D. Just go to their website. This is a free piece of software that you can download and start learning today. It's also a very professional piece of software. It's the industry leading tool. It's what we're teaching in our courses. And Unity has a bunch of great resources and free tutorials. So if you want to get started, if you know that the VR industry, AR industry is for you, start with Unity. Download it tonight and jump in. So here's a couple links. Unity's tutorials, Unity's documentation. Unity also has a section for virtual reality on their forum. This is where we would recommend starting. They're going to continue to be an industry leader. They're going to continue leading the VR AR creation process. So really Unity is the way to go. We've got about 24 people tuned in. So for probably 21 or 20 people, maybe you're not sure, you're just getting started, you're not really sure if this is something you want to do for sure, you're on the fence. We have a $99 course if you want something more structured. To find that, you just have to go to our website. It is a beginner-friendly course. It does work for a bunch of headsets. Just go into the courses tab, and there is a section here called Make VR Apps Unity Training Course. So this is our $99 course page. If you're one of those 20 people that's tuning in and you're just getting started, we would recommend this level right here, beginner. You can get started for $99 through kind of some longer form course content that we're actively putting out. If you're, someone tuning in tonight, maybe one of the other 3 or 4 people who's online, and you have an idea for a virtual reality or augmented reality app, you know that this industry is for you. We'd love to have you enrolled in our full-time 10-week online course. This is a live course. It's over 40 hours of content. It's 4 hours every single week. And we have a new class beginning on February 27th. So some of the benefits of this class are that it's taught live. So from beginner to intermediate through to advanced, you're working one-on-one with our instructors. And then there's a certification in VR and AR development. In the live course, you're going to learn how to use Unity in full to make VR AR apps. You're going to get an introduction to C#. And like I mentioned, it runs part-time for 3 hours weekly for 10 weeks. Plus that 1 hour of one-on-one help on your personal project, where we basically become your own VR AR mentor, coach, consultant, and just help you create an idea that you have in mind and learn the skills in Unity that you need for this industry. Prereqs. Newbies, have no fear. There's no prereqs for the course. This is a beginner course, and we do go into programming. So whether you have programming experience or you're totally new, don't worry. We do start at basically at ground zero or at the beginner level. So there's no previous experience, and it works. Unity works. You can take the course from either of your computers, a Windows or a Mac, a laptop or a desktop. We've worked with all of the VR headsets, and just want to remind you guys, there's no VR headset required for the course, but if you do have a Google Cardboard, an Oculus, a Vive, an iPhone, or an Android, we're comfortable working with any technology that you guys have. So there's only 5 spots available. We do like to keep the class sizes really small and intimate because we're working closely and often one-on-one with you guys. We're matching you up with experts from the VR industry like Usman and our network of other instructors, and those 5 spots will fill up quickly. So if this is something that you'd like to do, again, we encourage you to go for it. We're going to be offering a special discount to everyone tuning in to tonight's workshop. Regularly, the course is priced at $2,500. There's a $500 savings. So again, just recapping, $2,500 for the 10-week VR course. If you have an idea in mind, something that you want to create, something that you want to work with our network to help build, we would really encourage you guys to sign up for the 10-week course beginning on February 27th. So if you want to apply the discount, all you have to do before February 21st, again, just go back to our site. It's circuitstream.com. To register, you can go to either the virtual reality or the augmented reality course here. Click on one of these links. Here you can find a whole bunch more information on the 10-week live program. Obviously tonight we've only had an hour. This course is over 10 weeks, so it goes a lot more in depth. And then to reserve one of those final 5 spots, you just have to click enroll now for one of the times that works best for you. We We do have financing plans. You know, our team has invested in master's degrees, online courses, boot camps ourselves. So we know sometimes it can be a big fee. So if you want to break it up over 6 or 12 months, we have plans for as low as $130 a month. And again, if you place that $75 deposit, confirm one of those final spots, you're going to be saving $500 for the 10-week course before 21st. So if you guys have an idea or you're interested in virtual reality and augmented reality, please sign up. We'd love to have you enrolled in the full-time course. If you're just getting your feet wet and you're not sure if this is for you, check out the $99 course. Check out Unity. Download it tonight. We can be reached anytime at support@circuitstream.com. So if either you or your business has some questions about transitioning into this industry, feel free. We're an open book. Send us an email anytime at support@circuitstream.com or just visit our website for more info. But yeah, we'd love to work with you guys in the course. We'd love to learn more about what your organization or what ideas you have in mind personally, and we'd love to help you create those ideas in VR or in AR. So thank you guys so much for your time. It's been a pleasure for both Usman and I speaking with you tonight. I know we've got a bunch of questions lined up in the chat. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to hang out for the last 10 or 15 minutes. If you guys want to ask any questions about VR and AR design, development, the industry, opportunities, feel free to just throw those into the chat, and we will start answering some of those now. Yeah, perfect. Maybe.
Yeah, up top.
Yeah, just up top. Yeah, perfect. So we're just gonna pull up our chat log here. I think just give us 2 seconds.
We got it.
Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna start with a question from Scott Pontoni. Pardon me if I'm saying that wrong. So Scott is asking, besides VRTK, and for those of you that don't know, he's referring to VR Toolkit, which is another like a plugin that works with Unity. Besides VRTK, what are some other really good and free resources out there for development? I'm assuming VRTK is great. Newton VR is an awesome resource if you're looking to play with physics. I think it's just try Googling Newton VR. Xcode is free. You can get an Apple developer account for free. Google's developer account's free. Resources with Unity.
There's the Steam VR plugins, the AR kit plugins, Vuforia. Let's see what else. Oculus integration. You got
Vuforia, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, Vuforia. And then yeah, Windows Mixed Reality has their plugin as well, or they have their SDK. Yeah.
And then Scott had a second question. So Scott's second question is there a way to take multiple meshes and combine them into one?
You know, I'm sure there's a plugin for that. I would just do that inside of a 3D modeling software. If you mean to do it in real time in the engine, I believe it would be similar to one of those plugins that allows you to, you know, have a model and then you can use it something like Fruit Ninja and then the model gets cut. I think it's just another plugin just to invert that.
Question number 3 from Akash Heralka. Akash's question is, what are some good VR AR conferences to attend in the US? Akash, the best and biggest VR AR conference to attend in the US is called VRLA. Let me just see if it's vrla.com. Oh, no, it's not that. I'm just going to do a Google search just to show you. So we'll be there at VRLA. It's on May 4th and 5th. There we go. In Los Angeles. So this is the biggest VR and AR expo. We're going to be teaching some workshops at VRLA. There's a massive expo hall, booths, a whole bunch of different companies, all the kind of market-leading companies will be there. So if you're on the West Coast, I would really recommend VRLA. I'm trying to think of some others. So if you're on the East Coast, Toronto, New York, West Coast, there's also Vancouver, Seattle. Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking forward to VRLA. Hope to see you guys there.
yeah, Akash, maybe we'll see you there. Okay, Scott Pontoni, question number 4. Is it possible to save as a project? Let's say I get a bunch of VRTK scripts going, teleport, fall, climb, etc. in a project. I could start with for each future project. basically open the baseline template project and save as to start a new one.
Yeah, you can totally do that for sure. Yeah, let's see if I can just show you right now. So I have this project saved, and now when you saved your project, you look for it in your in your folder, right? So I save this project. I go down to my projects tab in Unity, right click in there, and I'm going to scroll up to show in folder. So show in folder, and what will come up for me is this. So now this is where my project is located in your hard drive. So what I'll do instead is, mine's just called Vive First. I'll go over here where it says Vive First. I can just copy and paste that, name it differently, and then have Unity navigate to that new one, and just sort of repeat that process whenever you want to start a new project with a baseline. I hope that makes sense. Right? You got this project, copy and paste that project as a new with a new name, and use that as for your next project, and sort of repeat that process.
Scott Pantoni has another question. Without access to Maya, is there another free way to add textures to OBJ files, UVs? I'm able to export OBJs from CAD software, but I've never seen anything about UVs.
I believe Blender can do that, right?
Blender's a free resource you could use.
Yeah, Blender's free. Open source.
Akash Hiralka is asking, what are some good sources to find 3D models?
The Unity Asset Store has plenty of 3D models in there. Those are very good. You could try TurboSquid. You could try freemodels.com, free3dmodels.com. Just type in free 3D models. You'll come across several different options.
Sketchfab, CG Society. I don't know if they have free ones. Polycount.
There you go. Yeah. All of these just have this little free filter option. You can get all of them there that way.
Nognade is asking, which 6 headsets is Gear VR one of them? So Nognade, I'm not really sure what you mean. Does that question make sense to you? You're asking, is Gear VR which 6 headsets?
Which 6 headsets?
I think the ones that you presented earlier. You said what 6 headsets do you teach me?
Yeah, so Gear VR Nognade is definitely one of the headsets that we work with in our course. A lot of our students have Gear VR. We've built Gear VR apps before, so yeah, Gear VR is 100% a great option. Okay, Scott Pontoni is asking, sometimes I get a lot of lag in my scene. What aspects of Unity are most CPU intensive? What can I do to avoid to keep things smooth? When he imports his models, sometimes they have hundreds of thousands of faces. So, which is probably not good with the models to start.
Okay, so there's so many things that it could be. In terms of the polygon count, that's something you want to do in the 3D editor that you have. When it imports models, sometimes have hundreds of thousands of faces. Yeah, that's something to do with your 3D modeling device, your 3D modeling software. I can't say much to that in terms of just Unity. I've usually just been using Blender, and I haven't ever really come across that problem. In terms of what you can do to avoid, so just to make things smoother, I think that's just a matter of garbage collection. If you're spawning a bunch of objects in your scene and you don't need to see them anymore, you don't need them in your game, delete them, get rid of them. You can use something like occlusion, or I think it's called, I can't think of the term right now, but it's meant to say that you only render things in front of your camera. I believe that's in Unity Pro. Apart from that, yeah, just make sure you don't have a bunch of unnecessary objects in your scene. That's usually what costs the most amount of CPU power.
Awesome, thanks, Usman. Bruno Barron is asking, do you need a Mac to develop on iOS? Yes, Bruno Barron, you do need a Mac to develop for iOS. Dustin S. is asking, are there any apps that you recommend for 3D scanning? Justin, I'm honestly not sure. There's a couple good photogrammetry tutorials online. And I think for most 3D scanning these days, still you need a special camera which hooks onto like your iPad or your cell phone. So we can keep it in mind and let you know if we think of any. Maybe shoot you an email. But off the top of my head, I'm not sure. Do you know any apps for 3D scanning?
No, not that I've come across. No. He's talking like AR type apps, yeah.
I'm assuming, yeah, for scanning an object, maybe with a smartphone.
Yeah, I'm not sure. they might have some. Yeah, I wouldn't know. I haven't come across that.
I mean, there's also 3D scanning companies which will do like body scans.
Yeah.
Some people also use traditional cameras for photogrammetry. Dustin, I would recommend just doing a Google search on photogrammetry tutorial, maybe seeing what you can find online. So these are awesome questions, guys. Keep them coming. Usman and I are just going to hang out here and try to help you guys with any other questions you have about Unity, about VR and AR for a few more minutes. So if you guys have any other questions, we'd love to get them answered.
Maybe just go over the difference between AR, MR, and VR.
Sure. So for those of you who are a little unsure about the difference between virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality, virtual reality is where your reality is totally cut off. So you're putting on a headset like the Vive or like the Oculus, and all you're seeing is a digital world. Augmented reality is where you can still see real life, basically. So you may be looking through an iPad, maybe you're wearing a pair of glasses like Google Glass or Magic Leap or Microsoft HoloLens, and you see the real world with basically digital elements projected over top of real life. And you can do that in Unity. And then mixed reality is kind of a combination of both of those. So mixed reality would be like where they bring a person like into a digital environment. Like I often think of mixed reality videos. Or Microsoft mixed reality.
Got another question.
So a question from Holly Alvarado. Holly is asking, have you ever used an image sequence with transparency as a texture in AR? I'm trying to have an animation made in After Effects with an alpha play on the wall in the office in AR. Unity kept crashing. I don't think we've ever done anything like that, but have you?
Trying to have an animation made in After Effects with an alpha play on the wall in office. It's very
Holly,
cool.
that's a stumper.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that. That's something I want to try now.
An image sequence with transparency. Is an image sequence like an animation?
Sort of, yeah. I think it's like one of those flipbook type things. Image sequence with transparency. I don't see why that would be a problem. I think maybe it's just a matter of how you're approaching it. Maybe you require a little bit of coding in terms of changing materials per frame or something.
And what about Unity crashing? Would that be like a GPU issue, or could it be?
I'm not sure. That would either an image is corrupt or it's inefficiently being rendered. Could be really anything. I've never tried to do that. I'm not sure.
We rendered a PNG sequence instead of a .mov.
Oh, PNG.
Right, so a series of pictures, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, so the next two questions are from Rodney Parsons and Scott Pontoni, and my answer is kind of similar because so Rodney is asking, what do you guys think of the Pimax? And then Scott was asking, do you have any insights on Amazon Sumerian? So Rodney, like, we've never used Pimax before. We've mainly stuck to the how would you say, like, more I don't want to say commercial, but more mainstream headsets. So I've never actually had a chance to try Pimax. So I don't think I can offer any valuable feedback on Pimax, unfortunately. And same with Amazon Sumerian, Scott. So I did see Amazon Sumerian and look into it briefly, but honestly, we've just been really focused on Unity because that's kind of where we've invested our time as and kind of belief in Unity as the market leader and the industry standard. So haven't really paid too much attention to Amazon Sumerian. Yeah. Bruno Barron is asking, where can I see an overview of the 10-week course content? So Bruno, what you could do is just go back to our website. So from the homepage, if you want to see an overview, you can go to courses, and then down to the virtual reality or the augmented reality course. This page has an outline of the course, the requirements, what we do, and if you want some more detail, there's a field right in the middle here called course syllabus. So if you just put in your name, your email, you can actually download the course syllabus, and that will give you a PDF which goes over week by week what we're covering in the course. So yeah, just download the syllabus from our website, Bruno, and you can get all the info that you should need.
We're always trying to improve the curriculum as well. As we get feedback from newer and newer students, we're always looking of ways to making things clearer, maybe adding more or taking things that aren't necessary to learn to VR out of there. But yeah, it's constantly evolving, and we're trying to make the curriculum as best as we can.
Alexander Clark is asking, how would you make a sprite sheet from a PNG sequence? What people using PNGs flat?
Make a sprite sheet from a PNG sequence. Okay, imagining it to be a series of materials that you would create, and then put those in an array in the script and cycle through that array of materials when you're wanting to use it. That is my first guess right now.
We could help you, Alexander Clark. We could help you build that idea or project. Kind of curious about what you're using a series of PNGs in a sequence for sprite sheet in VR. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That was the last question. Awesome, guys. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and thank you for your time. Again, feel free to reach out to us anytime. I'm just going to get our email back up on the screen. It's just support@circuitstream.com. If you do have an idea for a VR AR application, if you want to learn the skills and tools in more detail, we'd love to have you enrolled in the course. Again, if you want some more info on that, hit up our website, send us an email. And thanks again for tuning in to the intro workshop tonight. And we hope to have the chance to work with you guys soon.
It was nice talking to you guys. You guys take care. Signing out.